The wind over New Carthage Academy always carried the smell of ionized rain, like metal cooled too quickly, like a breath caught mid-thought. Samantha had grown used to that scent. It seeped into the fabric of life on the reclaimed plains, where the domed cities fought endlessly against a sky that no longer remembered blue. But that morning, as she walked across the east courtyard toward her genetics hall, the smell felt heavier, almost electric, as if the air itself was holding its breath. The academy walls, tall and silver, shimmered under a pallid dawn. Holographic banners flickered with the emblem of the Continental Scientific Directorate, the coil of DNA. Intertwined with the silhouette of old Earth, they fluttered soundlessly, even though the air was still. Samantha noticed these things the way she noticed everything, quietly, distantly, as if observation were the last reliable constant in a world that had forgotten stability. She pulled her jacket tighter around her shoulders and kept walking. She was tired, not physically, but somewhere deeper, somewhere marrow level. For weeks, she had felt a strange emptiness rising in her, a dull echo of a thought she couldn't articulate. The adults around her said it was normal. Detachment, they called it. A common symptom of growing up in fractured times. But Samantha suspected it was something else. The sky pulsed just once. A faint tremor of violet light, like a warning signal whispered by the morning clouds. No one else reacted. The other students continued filing toward classes, half awake, lost in their own worlds. Samantha paused. She felt the pulse ripple through her chest, as if the light itself had briefly touched her heartbeat. A solar flare? A microburst? A malfunction in the dome's polarization layer? She didn't know, and she didn't have time to think about it further. Not yet. Inside the genetics hall, the air carried the sterile chill of recirculated oxygen. The tiles gleamed with that strange, off-white sheen that made everything feel both clean and uncomfortable, like the world had been polished too aggressively. Samantha took her seat near the back. Her instructor, Dr. Havers, stood before the screen wall, adjusting the lecture display with a flick of his hand. He looked as worn as she felt, too many years studying extinctional-level data streams. Not enough years pretending that Earth wasn't slowly unraveling. "We'll continue where we left off last week," he said. Hybridization patterns among post-Exodus human returns. Theoretical only, of course. Tired, thin smile. After all, no successful alien-human hybrids have ever been recorded. Samantha leaned back. The violet pulse still lingered in her mind. Moments later, as Dr. Havers began to speak, something happened that she would remember for the rest of her life. Something that would fracture her understanding of the world into before, after. Something that would rewrite the meaning of the word human. A hum rolled through the building, low, resonant. 2. Smooth to be mechanical, too alive to be natural. Dr. Havers froze. Mid-dash sentence, several students turned there. Heads' lights flickered, not randomly, but rhythmically, like a heartbeat, and then the alarm. Screamed, a sound no one in the academy had ever heard. Before, not fire, not breach, not breach. Not lockdown, an alarm reserved for something the directorate. Manuals called Class 0 biological events. It meant unknown life form detected. The windows darkened automatically. Doors sealed. Metal shutters slammed down over the interior hallways, but the stranger walked through them anyway. No footsteps, no sound, just a ripple in the air, a shimmer of distorted gravity, and then she was standing in the center of the lecture hall. Where nothing had stood a breath before, the room fell into absolute silence. She, the intruder, the anomaly, the impossible being, looked barely older than Samantha, but her presence made the air feel heavier, warmer, strange. She wasn't glowing, but light seemed to form around her, bending subtly toward the curves of her body. Her skin was smooth with a faint, pearlescent undertone like moonlight reflecting off water. Her hair flowed in long, weightless strands that shifted color depending on how one looked at them. White, silver, faint lavender, all at once. Her eyes were the most unsettling, too symmetrical. Two deep irises shifting like liquid prism. She was, without question, the most beautiful being Samantha had ever seen. Beautiful in a way that felt designed, handsome in a way that felt engineered, alien in a way that felt intimate. No. One moved, no one breathed, and then the stranger tilted her head a small, curious motion and spoke. Her voice was soft, melodic, but layered, as though more than one consciousness echoed through her. "I am not here for any of you," she said. Her eyes fell on Samantha. Only her. The sound of those words froze Samantha's bones. Screams erupted. Chairs overturned. Dr. Havers tried to stand between them, hands shaking as he activated his holocom. But the stranger lifted her fingers just slightly, and the air shuddered. The devices shorted out. The room dimmed. Students fled toward the emergency exit. The stranger didn't stop them. She didn't chase anyone. She merely stepped toward Samantha, as if the rest of the world didn't exist. Samantha's pulse pounded. Her legs felt weighted. Why me? Who was she? Why did she look so human? And then the intruder whispered something even more terrifying. "Samantha, you survived. I didn't think any of you remained." Her expression softened, not with malice, but with grief. The walls trembled. Security doors burst. Armed drones swarmed into the corridor. The stranger's face shifted, sorrow becoming resolve. "I don't want to hurt anyone," she murmured, "but I cannot leave you here." Samantha's breath caught as the stranger reached out a hand toward her. A hand glowing faintly with bioluminescent tendrils that pulsed beneath her skin. And then everything happened at once. The drones opened. Fire. The lights went white. The floor melted. Under a wave of kinetic heat, the world tore sideways. As the stranger grabbed Samantha's wrist, "Samantha," she whispered with a voice that seemed almost breaking, "you're the last key." And then the world vanished.